In this video, we're going to discuss how SoStocked will automatically increase your warehouse stock or deduct your warehouse stock based on inventory coming into a warehouse and inventory leaving a warehouse. There's also another article in here that is very helpful, which is how do I update my warehouse 3PL inventory. Highly recommend you check that video out as well, which I will link in this document. Okay. So let's talk about this. We're in SoStocked, we're on the inventory page, and as you can see, that we have a column that's turned on right now. You can turn on and turn off columns. We have one turned on that's called warehouse stock, and it shows how much inventory we have at each warehouse for each product. Pretty straightforward. It's very easy to understand. These are our different warehouses. Now, how does this number get updated? There's a couple of different ways. That video that I showed you down here shows you how to do it manually, so I'm not going to go into that. But essentially, if when you create a purchase order, like here's a fake purchase order. Let me see if I have a better one. Here's one. So this is like some yoga mats that are going to a third-party warehouse. Basically, what happens is the lead time that you assign to that product or that supplier, but whatever lead time you choose determines where the inventory is going. If the inventory ends at a warehouse, and let me edit this order to show you a little bit more specifically. So in this case, this yoga mats inventory is being produced by ABC supplier. It's about 10,000 units, and per the lead time, it's going to go to this third-party warehouse, which is called FBM Sales Warehouse. That's fantastic. So what will happen is, as soon as I create this purchase order and I save it down here, if I go back to my orders page, we can see on our order tracker, which is where we originally found this purchase order, it's en route right now based on that timeline. What will happen is it will automatically, if I have the PO set to automatic, which is the default setting, it will automatically move from here over to third-party warehouse. Based on the date the ETA date of June 9th, which is, like I said, a week from now, this will pop over here to 3PL, to the third-party warehouse. As soon as that happens, when we go back to our inventory page, if I were to find that yoga mat, we'll just search by name, yoga. So ABC supplier, whatever warehouse it's going to, let's say it's going to Amazing Logistics, this number here will change by that 9,700 and whatever, almost 10,000 units. So yes, it will automatically change as long as you're correctly using our purchase order system. So make sure you learn how to use the purchase order system. Go down here, type in how to create or how to make a PO. There's articles on that. In terms of deducting inventory from a warehouse, it's very, very similar. When we go to our order tracker, if we create a purchase order like this one, we're actually removing inventory from a warehouse and transferring it typically to FBA. So it's kind of the same thing. Here's probably a better example over here. This is a better example. 100 units transferred from whatever warehouse this came from that went direct to FBA. Looks like it came from Denver warehouse and the destination was FBA. All right. So when I create that work order, it shows up in the third-party warehouse, and then it goes to en route, and then it goes to FBA, because that's kind of how the lead time works. As soon as it leaves the warehouse, that particular warehouse inventory will deduct. So if we're going back to our main inventory page here, that was the can opener. The Denver warehouse, as you can see, that work order already left the warehouse, so now we're at 0 inventory, whereas before we had 100 units. So that 100 units will automatically be deducted. So that's kind of how that works. The third way, which is not as popular, but it does work, is if you were to just go into Amazon Seller Central and create an FBA shipment like this one up here, and not create a purchase order or a work order, you just create the FBA shipment, our system will find that inventory, that shipment rather, from Amazon Seller Central, because we're doing an API pull every day. When SoStocked finds that 1,000 units that you've created a shipment for, it's going to tell you need to reconcile that shipment. Again, go down to the help desk, watch the deep dive on how to reconcile. In order to keep this particular video short, I'm just going to explain high-level concepts and not get into the weeds. So you would basically go through this process and reconcile the shipment. If you don't want to create a work order or purchase order, or if you don't have one already created, you can just do a one-time reconcile, and you can still deduct the inventory from your warehouse without creating a work order, as long as you check that little box right there. So now it'll deduct this 1,000 units from whatever warehouse you choose, and it will just show it sort of en route to FBA, but it won't be connected with a work order. It'll just have this FBA number up here. Normally you would reconcile shipments to a work order or to a purchase order. Again, watch the deep dive on how to reconcile shipments. So those are kind of the ways that our system, SoStocked, will automatically add or deduct inventory from your warehouses.